explainers are around the museum, doing demonstrations and interacting with kids at the exhibits.
I think one of our biggest goals as explainers is just to learn how to ask questions and learn how to inquire about the world as a whole, and to also communicate that to the visitors. And sometimes the best answer is another question.
Initially, I was so overwhelmed with the content of science being here and wanting to know and figure out the answers, because people on the floor constantly would approach me and ask me how something worked, and I would want to know, and I would go home and look it up. As I worked here longer and longer, I became more okay with not knowing the answer and more focused on helping people discover what they were interested in and helping them go deeper into it.
Sometimes visitors come to the demos expecting more of a didactic approach, like, well, this is a cow eye, and let me tell you everything I know about eyeballs. But what we try to do really is not so much disseminate knowledge from on high, but encourage visitors to look at their own inquiry into how eyes work, or how plants reproduce, or how the brain works.
When people come into the program, they see how close the explainers are to each other and how closely they work together. They tend to watch each other a lot, doing different parts of their jobs to get new ideas and to try things and to give each other tips. So those things are a big part of the culture.
We spend time together in the morning. We spend time together after work. It's almost like it's a family in a sense.
Each explainer brings something different to the group, and they're hired on purpose that way. And we have to encourage them to try to figure out, why did we hire all these other people? What is the special quality they each bring?
Where one of us has a weakness, so to speak, another one has a strength. Sometimes when visitors have questions, it's, well, you know what, I know someone who knows more about that one. Let's go find out.
Eventually, they start to find out what they feel like they're good at and what they're interested in, and start to find their place here and their sort of niche. And they become a mentor then for the new explainers coming in. And I think that's a really important part of the program, because I couldn't possibly teach every explainer everything they need to know. They need to learn it from each other.
As soon as I get inspired, I want to share it with other people too. So that's what I love about this place, that I'm constantly learning, but then I'm constantly being able to share what I'm learning with other people, and that helps me understand it even better. There's always someone around who goes that one step deeper and says, hey, look at that tree stump that they just cut down. We can look at the rings in that. And then that inspires a whole group of people to start looking at tree rings, and the whole experience becomes richer because of everyone's diverse backgrounds.
My background's actually as a history teacher. It was a change because I've never thought of teaching science before.
Some of them will always see exhibits through a more creative, artistic lens or an aesthetic lens, and some of them will always see it through a more science lens, and they appreciate that in each other. I think that's part of the culture.
It's a circular travel of inspiration. Visitors constantly approach me and ask me amazing questions, like I'll be dissecting an eyeball and someone will have a great question that I have never even thought about asking me for. And that's a huge inspiration to me. And then I want to go figure out the answer, or talk with a scientist to figure out the answer, or just talk with the other explainers who are a huge inspiration. I think the main thing is that this museum makes people so interested in what is going on in the world around them. And I think everyone is equally inspired by the world here.